All right, so we've talked a lot about how we can use all the different elements of music in our theme, right? We talked about rhythm and melody, cadences, color and timbre, that sort of thing. Now I want to walk you step by step for you to create your own theme, okay? Because you need to create a project for this course, and the project's basically to be using your theme in 3 different variations, in an urgent variation, a calm variation, and then, of course, creepy one. So the first step you want to do is ask yourself, who is your character? Okay? Now, we talked a little bit about how theme and variation works a few lessons and discussions ago, but I'll give you a reminder that the character should really be about how does this character respond to situations? You know, what are their personality traits? Are they go-getters? Are they cautious? Are they easily anxious? Are they easily intimidated? That sort of thing. Then you want to ask yourself, okay, well, what's their situation? Let's take the urgent cue, for example. We might want to ask ourselves, what is it that's urgent about this situation? Is it time urgency? Maybe we could use rhythm to sort of create a constantly advancing pace. Is the tension or urgency coming from sort of a weight in the room, a situation where, you know, maybe something is unspoken and it's more emotional? We're trying to use harmony, for example, to kind of pull at somebody's heartstrings. So think about the situation as you make your theme and as you make your first variation. Now, the next thing is you want to select an appropriate rhythm. And you want to think about, should the rhythm be quick? Should it be slow? Is it a lilting thing? Is it urgent? Maybe it's even accelerating over time. Maybe it's advancing and kind of making somebody feel anxious. The next thing you want to do is look at harmony and cadences. And you want to think about how you can use chords to frame up maybe a resolution or maybe a lack of resolution, right? Then once you've got this information kind of in your head, and I might suggest even writing it down, who your character is, what situation they're in, what is an appropriate rhythm for this, what's an appropriate harmony and cadence, right? And then you're ready to look at developing a melody. You want to kind of, again, think of your melody as your character, and have that melody sit in the harmony in a manner that's in alignment with the character traits that you've outlined and the situation that you've outlined, right? So, for example, if the melody is jumping around, that might really indicate the kind of personality of the character. But if the melody is kind of a slave to a rhythm that's constantly changing, that might be a way of conveying some element of their situation, right? The way the character is having to respond to situation. The final thing you're going to look at is color and timbre, because instrumentation is going to convey a lot. Like we talked about earlier, if you use horns, it's going to sound really grandiose and kind of royal, whereas if you use an oboe, it might sound very lonely and distant, right? So once you've got your character, once you've got your situation, then you can start thinking about using instrumentation, color, and timbre to kind of accentuate that, to make the point very clear to the listener or the player that the instruments are kind of fortifying and reinforcing the character's personality and the strains of the situation.